to ask
500,000
I want to ask Hamza Yusuf to answer this.
Well, I feel, unfortunately, that we're not looking in terms of long-term. We're dealing with a very complicated area, and we're looking at it very simplistically. The Arab world is a world that feels united in the sense that they have an ethnic and linguistic bond. Anything that happens in Iraq affects the entire region. I visited Kuwait 2 years ago, and the Kuwaitis of all the Arabs have been criticized for having a deep love for the American people. I went back about 6 months ago, and I was shocked to see the same people had really felt that they'd been completely betrayed. And I think that that overwhelming feeling that will permeate the Arab world will create much more insecurity in our world and allow for much more opportunity to attack this country. And that's why I personally feel that we can't, there is going to be a straw that breaks the camel's back eventually. Well, I've spent probably half my adult life outside of this country, and I would have to agree, I don't feel that the American people and the essential goodness of this people is being well represented outside of America by certain flawed foreign policies that this country has and continues to have. And what I really fear, if we're talking about security and the future, I very seriously fear a world in which over 70% of the people do not have potable drinking water, that we're dealing with massive poverty. We're looking, if you look just at the Arab world alone, you're dealing with extraordinarily high birth rates and populations that have unemployment of sometimes 25%. Now, we can't, obviously, this country cannot solve all the problems of the world, and I don't think America should do that. But I don't think America should be part of the problems that are existing in the world because of very serious, flawed foreign policies.
Having force attached to them to impose them on Iraq?
I think it's absolutely necessary for the United States, in order to reestablish some moral credibility in the world, that it needs to work within the constraints of international law. And I think that, unfortunately, what I read today was, in a sense, you need to agree with us or you're irrelevant. In other words, you need to be on board, make this a multilateral war against Iraq, or you're irrelevant. And I think the point made, India has not abided by resolutions about Kashmir, for instance. And so for one state it applies, but for other states it doesn't apply. And I think that's where people around the world feel that there is hypocrisy. And I think if it's established across the board, I think that everybody will breathe a sigh of relief. But when the United Nations is used as a rubber stamp, and the other resolutions that are being ignored by other states are not applied, then this is where, you know, again, I think that we're not looking at the real issue here about a war that is possibly going to happen, and it's very likely. And I feel that that's, for me, the most important issue here, is that more innocent people are going to suffer over something that we really are just saying, you know, he might. And in the last 10 years, he has not. He is setting up his son to be an inheritor. I think he knows very well what the United States can do. The United States can basically create a massive explosion in Iraq, as it has done before, wipe out what's left of their infrastructure. And I just feel that Saddam Hussein, even though there's nobody here that will defend him, I certainly would not defend him. I would like to see him gone. Most of the Arabs would like to see him gone. But to take him out now, I think, is going to further polarize an already polarized world. I think it's
whether
sad.
It's about the relationship between how important Britain is.
I think that it's sad to see that Britain, the Lion of Britain, become a feather in the American eagle. I would like to see Britain be a moral voice once again. Some of the greatest progressive traditions in Western civilization came out of Britain. And I would like to see, because Britain, they are great friends of America, and I feel that it is friends that can give sincere advice. It's not enemies.